So this is the next test we're going for. Lord Tidow versus Mr. Soltmann. Hello, Mr. Soltmann. And they've drafted 5 civs. First, the draft starts with a ban, so they don't want the strong archer civilizations that play here, Ethiopia's Vikings. They are both with Aegis Nordlichter clan, so they probably know each other well from before this match. And they listed the home maps as well. Let's see. Plains for Lord Tidow and Lowland. No, hold on. Yeah, home maps. Lord Tidow with Plains and Acropolis for Mr. Soltmann. And then they banned Lowlands and Desert Void, so no Desert Void for this set. So we see Frags, Magyars, Huns here for Lord Tidow. Really wants to play the cavalry. Might actually use only these civs for the maps picked. And Mr. Soltmann with the Malians, Persians, Lithuanians. Yeah, lots of cavalry civs here. We'll see. The maps picked, both Plains and Acropolis definitely favor scouts play and open map runs, so we'll see. But let's find the first game here. Need to fix the scoreboard as well, and then we're good to go. So we have Malians versus Franks here for Arabia. As we know, Franks have a very high win rate against all kinds of teams, but Malians strike me as one civ that could punish Franks. They have fully upgraded Castle Age camels. They are lacking a couple of upgrades in the Imperial Age, but then as in exchange, the unique tech of Malians will give them Farimba, or the cavalry unit, giving them another +5 attack or so. So if you have camels with extra attack, maybe you could contest the Franks cavalry that way in the Imperial Age. As a result, Malians don't get halberdiers, so that kind of sets them back. If the map runs out of gold, then Malians suddenly don't have great options. But in return, they have light cav with much higher attack than the Franks light cav, for example, so they could get some good raids in. Let's see the Franks map here though. Main gold between two woodlands here. If you wall far enough out, I guess you could keep that one somewhat safe. Side seems easily closed here. Could even go for a wall here, and then you'd have the berries and another woodland secured. Front side seems rough though. It's a very broad stretch to wall, so maybe some more local approach to walling will be needed here. Two side golds here, but right next to a hill. It's both good and bad. If Lord Tidow gets the edge moving into the castle stage, he could just place one of his cheap castles here, and then this area should be nicely secured with the 2 golds, and for that matter, the stole. As for Mr. Soltmann, we have 2 very forward golds here. That's incredibly unlucky for the Malians, but at least the main gold in the back is going to allow for consistent gold income for a good while. Berries somewhat in the back as well. And then overall, a map that's easier to close off and secure than what's the case for the Franks player on the other side. Franks will very likely go for scouts, as we see 3 on wood here, with Mr. Soltmann with 4 on wood, indicating a barracks opening. The men-at-arms is pretty strong for the Malians, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see that from the Malians here. So forward now, on the look for the enemy. 5 minutes something scouting, could even try and block the boar lure here. There's not going to be any possibility to actually steal the boar, but But some important scouting intel gathered here, at least find the goal. That's a bit limited for Mr. Soltmann. You must know. Why are you running over here? Actually, the gold is a pretty clear indication that this is the enemy area, so that's where you should explore a bit. Is it auto scout? Maybe no, I don't think so. I'm puzzled. I like the forward walling here of Lord Tidow because he's probably going to expect the infantry opening of Mr. Soltmann by now since it's Malians. So if you wall the front side, you force the men-at-arms to at least take the long way around here. And backside here near the berries could be hit as well. So it's not going to be easy to hit the food income of Franks here for the early scouts opening. Is it a 21 pop men-at-arms here, maybe? Looks like the food eco will allow that after loom. Let's see, force drop. Idle TC. Yeah, just a bit short going for another builder there. At the cost of 11 seconds idle TC time here. 5 seconds between the two players. This is the time to fight the Frank Scouts. You need to want to hit it before it gets that extra hit points, then you could actually win. On the other hand, you never know when Franks are going to hit Field Age here, so it might be better to just take the hill, get some good hits in, and then back off and run home. Look at these guys dancing around, fighting for the hill advantage here. But now, yeah, 1 minute to go to the Field Age, so favoring the Malian Scout here. They have roughly same HP, but it looks like 23 and 27. Okay, yeah, so Frank's in the lead, actually. It is a distraction, though, and Lord Tidow may not know what's coming his way. He actually doesn't even know the enemy location, so this could be hurtful if you run close to the TC here. There we go. Builder helps out a bit, but there's the Field Age, and Lord Tidow will win the Scouts fight simply with the extra attack and hit points for the Frank Scouts in the Field Age. Delays the walls a bit here as well. Very important when you're going for the Scouts opening, as here's the stables going up for the blue player. Meanwhile, some angry housewives on the move here for Mr. Soltmann. And the enemy side is still open, so it's definitely going to find a point of entry here. Oh! Oh! Nice save by Lord Tidow there to keep the aggression from running right in there between the woodlands, but men-at-arms are in, and some creek houses are really being rushed up here now to force the men-at-arms in towards the TC, and Soltmann takes the bait here, but somehow evades most of the attack here and gets one men-at-arm over here to, yeah, idle the woodland a bit. This is a huge wood investment going into the houses as well, but you always need houses, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh no, you deleted the barracks. Ah, right. Well, that sucks. Kaserne. It's actually the same word in Norwegian. No, I know. It's same word in Norwegian, except it's not used that much. But the military term for barracks in Norwegian is kaserne. So same word. Yeah, so that's 175 wood down the drain, and that's a mistake I will almost consider exploiting if I'm Mr. Soltmann here and go for some more Field Age aggression with scouts here, because the spears will be far away. But the men-at-arms is follow up with a range here for Mr. Soltmann, has the first archers in queue here, and has the full walls in place at home, so the scouts of Lord Tidow won't be entering at this point. 4 scouts, trying their luck here. As long as Mr. Soltmann doesn't accidentally open this one, the scouts should never be allowed to enter it. There are even spearmen here to help out and take some hits in on them. Looks like some very extensive walls for Lord Tidow at home here. That's going to be tough to quick wall at a later stage if it's needed, but we'll get back to that with the scouts realizing they won't be getting in. Might as well just scout the rest of that. 5 scouts! Oh boy. Does Lord Tidow know about the barracks though? Probably range, I mean. He probably expects the archers follow up when the opening is the men-at-arms, but will absolutely be beneficial to scout as well. Here come the archers. No fletching yet, but they will be getting some hits in on the scouts nevertheless. They have some spears to join in with them if they're once they're going to move forward as well. Lord Tidow already with the skirms on the field though, expecting the archers play from his opponent here. Military to 8 scout skirm should be very nice against the spear archers here. The scout skirm combo basically counters everything that Mr. Soltmann has on the field right now. The eco setup for both players looks rather similar as well, but it could be that Lord Tidow with the scouts investment and the stronger oh, huge farming eco will be getting to the castle age first here. Is actually going to break through this time, has some skirmishers here to deal with the archers that are still on the defensive here. And in we don't go, but there we go. It's open. Scouts in front, skirmishers behind. Spearmen need to dodge those, need to focus down these ASAP, otherwise the scouts are useless. Alright, good defense there by Mr. Soltmann, doesn't allow the scouts and skirms to enter easily. Lord Tidow should stay though and not let them reroll. This is just about sniping the spears, and you could comfortably engage here against the archers and everything. Amazing upgrades, so that could be the reason here that Lord Tidow doesn't have fletching or defense for the skirmishers. Decides to back out and go for the castle age instead. What do I do? Okay, with the TC where it is, maybe the damage is limited anyway, but these are few late units. You're going to the castle stage now, going to pump out those knights anyway, so I'll almost consider them expendable in the trade for some builders and economy here, honestly, at this stage. If you can punish the Malians on the way up to the castle age, you just extend your lead into the castle age by quite a bit here. There's a 2 builder difference here, and that should be... Why is there 2? It's idle TC time is the same here, and no kills. Why is there 2 builders in 2 builders difference here? Town watch maybe? Do we have town watch? Yeah, earlier to castle age, of course. That's it. So cast stage, do we have the second stable? There it is. Knights producing out of both stables. So Mr. Soltmann should be going straight into the camels here, ideally. We have 2 stables for Mr. Soltmann as well. Lots and lots of food and gold in the bank. So that's certainly going to be helpful here. Could go into crossbow as well to help in the fights against the enemy knights here. But we'll see. Bloodlines and camels, definitely. Defense is in as well, but that's for both players. Plus 2 defense for Tidow, Lord Tidow, because he's up against, as far as he knows, he's up against archers. Doesn't know about the camel switch, but that shouldn't be coming as a surprise when they're up against Malians with their many options in the Castle Age. $25 built through to 18 here, but the players are very hesitant to use their armies. I mean, that's something you commonly see on the lower levels, that players either aren't consistently producing army, or they're just not using the armies consistently enough. I'm guilty a lot of that myself, so I'm not blaming anyone here. I'm just stating the facts that you're not going to gain an advantage if you don't use your army numbers to your advantage. Knight Skirm against Camel Crossbow here. I guess I favor the camels and crossbows here. And we have a run-in in the middle. Oh, run for lives! Run for lives! And goodbye, Skirms. So Lord Tidow definitely needs some monks or some pikes here on both of them to hold this off, because he doesn't currently have an answer to crossbow camel combo. Down goes the forward siege workshop, maybe. At least it's not going to be producing anything anytime soon. Look at these greedy walls all the way to the edge. Keeping this back woodland back neutral stone safe as well. Is that even scouted? Nah, of course not. People never scout the corners. Mr. Soltmann now going for the production. Camel crossbow should be really strong against Franks, honestly. You have the camels to counter the knights, and the crossbows also deal decent damage to knights in these numbers. Range is still producing units, both stables pumping out camels as well. Not bad. Palisade Gate goes down. But I think Mr. Soltmann needs some forward siege here to further push the buildings here. That this is a good strategic spot there to, yes, to protect the gold, but also to kind of limit entry from this side. The camels don't have all that much of a pierced armor, so they can't just run in here. Oh, that's a horrible fight. Run, Mr. Soltmann! Back off! Disengage! Way too many knights here. But the overall military numbers are definitely in favor of Mr. Soltmann here. 30 military to 18. Some monks in the mix would be very helpful here as well. We see Lord Tidow has it added. He's queuing a couple more as well. So just a few cavalry conversions here could sway the favors of the battles quite a bit, actually. What's this? Ooh, sneak villagers. Is that the villagers who built this siege workshop, maybe? Sitting in the middle of the construction site, completing this building. Alright, let's see if there's going to be a breakthrough. Look at how much time the camels spent to break through one lousy house here. Oh, it's open. It's open. Handcart in for Mr. Soltmann as well to further effectivize the income here. We have 23 camels to 17 knights here now, but that means that just a few conversions from the monks could switch up the favors of the battle here. The knights, the crossbows, almost unprotected here now. I think Tidow could dive and take out the crossbows. Just delete the mill, run in, and focus down the crossbows at least. But no, this can't be a good fight for Lord Tidow here, honestly. It might or might not have gotten some conversions here, not really. Same upgrades on the cavalry here, and still it looks like it was a decent fight for Lord Tidow. Huh. Oh, oh, sneaky forward castle here. With 2 villagers, no less. And both players with an economy allowing Imperial Age very soon here. Lord Tidow missing a little bit of gold. Mr. Soltmann with more than enough resources, but likely lacking the buildings here. There's the University Monastery. Yeah, definitely going imp here. Almost enough stone for a castle as well, but let's see. We'll see this castle going up. That is kind of important here. Okay, there's more builders coming to build it, so that's going to make it easier to complete. But I bet if you had Town Watch, if you don't already have it, you'd see this castle going up. It's not like it did nice a lot. It did nice a little bit of a wood line here. But it's a vantage point for Treb to attack from. And behind this, Lord Tidow has 4 TCs, so there's slightly more villagers, and all 4 TCs producing now. Lord Tidow is going to take a lead there. Look at the stone count as well. 25 on stone. This is a full-on castle rush for Lord Tidow here. I saw it after it was built. Ah, let's see. Oh, there we go. Forward castle, defensive castle. Do they see each other here? No, they don't. Oh, okay, so this one, Mr. Soltmann is definitely going to get up first. I think this is going to be very much unfinished. Whoopsie! Yep. That one does not go down. Or, it goes down, it does not go up. That's the term. No sign of Imperial Age for Lord Tidow yet. Mr. Soltmann has only 1 minute to go, so even if this castle goes up, it should be tread down rather quickly. We'd have access to Heavy Camel with Farimba, possibly. Farimba is slightly expensive tech, so that's maybe one for a bit later. But that Imperial Age lead here is huge for Mr. Soltmann. Should mean a couple of trebs before Lord Tidow can even reach the Imperial Age himself here. Of course, you at some point need to deal with this as well, but this isn't really threatening anything, so I wouldn't stress that. I would just keep my forward, get this castle down, pump up some stables, make use of the, well, task 20-30 more farmers, and get into the rush, the light cab raids here. Yeah, Lord Tidow's food eco is less than stellar here. 39 on gold, 11 on food. You'd think he was planning a monk siege push or something. Yeah, a couple of forward villagers going down should be a problem. 3 trebs in queue now, nice. Still 2.5 minutes to go for the Imperial Age for Lord Tidow here. Where's the Heavy Camel? It's on the way, 1 minute to go. So what do we have? We have Heavy Camel, we have a couple of trips out. And once this castle goes down, I'd say just run in if you're Mr. Soltmann and focus down these knights before they can grow stronger. Doubling up on the archers here as well. Are we going to see Arbalest here, or what's the play? Knights, not going to become Cavalier anytime soon. It's time to force a fight against the Knights here. Pikes before they can become Halbs as well. Clock is ticking. Is it better just to... I guess the idea is to take down the castle first here, but now just dive in. You have military superiority here, 46 to 38 military. These Knights don't stand a chance against the Imperial Age Camels. Lord Tidow is desperately trying to get more castles up here. He will be getting it up, but the problem is there are 3 traps here already. So that castle should be very much short-lived. Crossbows here to snipe some pikes maybe, but just run in. You demolish all of Lord Tidow's armies here just like that. Don't worry about the monks, that's just maximum 2 conversions there. 14 on food for Lord Tidow, 68 on wood. I think he had this gathering point on wood for a little while here. In the middle of everything going on. The forward castle, some knights trying to break through here. Might get some lucky raids in, but it's definitely Mr. Soltmann with the momentum here now. 4 trebs to make quick work of this castle. Lord Tidow will actually get a treb out, I think, before the castle goes down, but that's 1 treb against 4. That is a battle lost anyway. I still think, even with the castle and the monks there, you should just dive in before Cavalier is an option. It really isn't with the current good setup for Lord Tidow, but still just dive in and diminish this number, kill these numbers. You have heavy camel. It's an easy fight to win big time here. (54 to 17) military here now. GG is called, and it is Mr. Soltmann calling the GG4 to get the first game here. Nice. Had no answer to camel. You have helps, but you have 14 on food, so no. Not easy to fight camels without helps, and not easy to make helps with 14 on food, so that makes sense. Let's have a look at the stats here. Nice to see Malians punishing Franks a bit here. 102 to 52 kills in the end, even with some hesitancy to use the military throughout the game here. It is Mr. Soltmann's game. Nice sneaky camel switch there in the cast stage. Not following up the crossbow play. Uptime's quite similar here, aside from the Imperial Age, which Mr. Soltmann made good use of. And Wilder High is pretty similar as well, so these players seem somewhat evenly matched, I'd say. So I ticked the 1-0. Let's look at the I actually haven't seen the next the picks for the next maps, so I'm gonna switch up this one a little bit. And let's see here. We have Lord Tidow with planes for the next one. And if I'm gonna take a guess, Franks, they're dead. They dead. Planes, I think I'll be seeing Huns, but now I'm just guessing here. Huns versus what's the other? Acropolis for Mr. Soltmann. Okay, so for Acropolis, Mr. Soltmann probably wants Lithuanians, so maybe a different kind of sim for planes. I think it's still going to be a cavalry sim, maybe Persians. My bet is on Persians Huns, and I could be 100% wrong, but let's see what game 2 brings. Magyars Lithuanians. Yes, I'm very wrong. But definitely cavalry sims for these very open maps. So, planes is next. It's going to be a map where you have to advance across the map throughout the game, definitely, to have access to wood. You'll see that you start with some small chunks of wood around your base, maybe some bigger ones near the edges. A huge chunky one here in the back for Mr. Soltmann, so that could be very much useful. But if you're a player who likes to make your own little hideout, you're at a loss on maps like plains and shrublands and these kinds of things. It's supposed to be very open, encourage scouts fighting, early archers, maybe cavalry archers later on, something that Magyars could bring to the table for sure. But we'll see what this matchup brings for us. I'm surprised to see Magyars here and not for Acropolis actually, but that's one for the later game. No sheep at the start, had to scout with builds. Yeah, sheep spawns can be brutal on this map as well. So that's a tough one. You managed to not go idle on TC though, so I appreciate that. There they are. Well, wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. And for the adversary here, Mr. Soltmann, he's found both boars, found the hunt. I think on this map there's neutral hunt as well. Yeah, patches of some extra hunt that could be taken. So Mongols could be a good pick for this one as well with the extra hunt if you can find it. It's even more open than Acropolis. Oh yes, that's the idea. 2 sheep still not found over here. Just a few tiles off. But the boar is going to provide some nice food source as well. Lord Tidow with a little bit of idle time here, struggling more for food than his opponent by the looks of it. Long distance shepherding here as well. But here comes the boar and should, yeah, secure consistent food income for villagers production. Moving on here. 18 seconds idle TC time to 0 here, and of course Lithuanians don't struggle as much with not finding a ship. They start with plus 150 food to begin with. I would actually see the instant rush for Lithuanians as a strong one for this very open map, because the enemy would have to rely on quick walls to keep your aggression out. But that's a very all-in micro-intensive strategy, so maybe not too common on lower levels like ours. Too difficult for me. Yeah, makes sense. It's not like I've practiced it a lot myself. Well, these stupid stragglers are blocking the boar entry and food income here. But Lithuanians can afford to waste food, for sure. It's going to be a nice and smooth, maybe 20 pop scouts here for Mr. Soltmann. Whereas Lord Tidow, he will have stronger scouts if he goes for scouts once he reaches the next stage, and cheaper ones as well. So I would favor the Magyar scouts play here as well, but that's not to say you can't pull off men-at-arms or Russians instead. But 3 and wood, usually indicative of scouts, and that's the case for both players here. So we have the players going up to the next stage here, both with 20 pop, and this is where it's starting to hurt for Lord Tidow, because he has 43 seconds idle time, will be going up at the same population, no significant advantage there, and will be 43 seconds later to the next stage, meaning that the... Where's the barracks, by the way? Oh, there we go. There it goes. The scouts will be coming out later, and you diminish that that window of opportunity to where your +1, instant +1 kicks in. Your spearmen will still be stronger against enemy scouts, so having forging instantly makes spear defense a lot easier, even if they still lack the speed to catch up with the scouts. There's the stables from Mr. Soltmann. 3 villagers, no less, to complete that one. Wants to make full use of the earlier good age here. Task one spearman right away, and that goes straight forward to annoy the enemy. With any luck, even a stable placement could be delayed and denied here of Lord Tidow. We'll see. Oh, there's the stable. It's gonna be delayed, delayed. Doink. Bang. +1 attack, remember? So the villager might actually need to evacuate here. You could fight with 2 villagers, take that chance. Pity the spearman wasn't close here. But the stables get significantly delayed. Is it gonna be denied here? Are you kidding me? Surely that one goes. Oh! The trap! Almost made the trap there, but the stable is still not up for the Magros player here. Disaster! Ay, ay, ay. Full panic mode for Lord Tidow here, and look at the idle TC time behind this as well. Took a little effect there, but idle eco, much more importantly, 7 villagers not working now in the middle of the madness here. Great play by Mr. Soltmann thus far to stop that stables from going up. We have 3 spearmen in queue, full on spear defense for Lord Tidow for now is finally gonna complete the stables, I think, and maybe get some counterattack now, but look at the idle time. That is, how many? 9 builders idling out for 12 minutes worth of lost resources there. So Mr. Soltmann takes a solid lead now, did lose that 1 spear, has another one at home now, and will try to contest the woodline next. $12 minutes, yeah, but remember all the villagers. It counts. It escalates more quickly as you add more villagers, so it's a misleading number in that sense. No chance to focus down. Oh, these are beggars, people. Don't try to focus them down. Ay, 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 ay. That's one down right for nothing there. I think Mr. Soltmann forgot for a minute there that his opponent is actually Magyars and has +1 attack. Three scouts, 2 spears versus 6 spears. That's a huge investment in eco as well. Lord Tidow with lots of wood and very little food behind this. He's got 7 foragers here, so has some food income, extending the farm's eco as well. Albeit without horse collars, that's going to be hurtful later on when we figure out we need to reseed those farms. Lithuanian scouts doing their best here, but they're being chased by those +1 attack spearmen. Scout micro is not one of my strengths. Yeah. I know the feeling. We are looking at an extended fuel age fight here though, which I like. Low resources for both, neither player has gone to gold. Lord Tidow has lost 3 villagers though, with Mr. Soltmann only 1, and so he's going to try and wall up here, and could actually wall all the way to the edge here. Like more the archer play. Yeah, then maybe you should have tried an archer civilization for this map. And spawn isn't that far away. It could even be better actually, because you can't quick call out archers. Would have certainly have had some potential to it. Why do all the German players like archer play so much? At least all my German AoE friends, they play archers and love their archers micro. Spear on spear, Mr. Soltmann extending the food economy here now, 18 on food. Oh, Tidow likes the scouts, I'm glad to hear that. Cavalry is the way to go. You don't need to babysit them all the time. One mangonel shot and suddenly you lose 30 archers. It's not fun. Oh! Ow! 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 Where are the spears? Where are the spears? 2 down. Man down. Woman down. I mean. Oof. This is not looking good for Lord Tidow here. Ding, 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 ding. Lithuanians, they are faster moving. He could just run here. He's faster. He's 10% faster. He could. But he wants to fight. He wants to prove his manlyhood by fighting the other spearman here who is stronger. He has +1 attack. And epic fail it was. Still superior scouts number for Lithuanians here. Lord Tidow with 8 spears, no less here now. KD 14 to 8. Mr. Soltmann, however, 5 on gold now, preparing that Castle Age switch, and Lord Tidow won't have any answer to that. Full wall, not really an easy option here. And yeah, it's gonna be tough to fight the Lithuanians knights here. Relics are even 2 or 3 of the relics are pretty close to Mr. Soltmann's base, so you could make good use of the relics bonus of Lithuanians early Castle Age here. Nice farms, 21 farms total, more than enough, as the gold income gets contested here by Lord Tidow's mass spears. And they have +1 attack, remember? So they are actually a better raiding unit than the generic spear. That's going to be 1 villager down there, maybe 2. Ah, she saves her life for now. Woodline in the back is exposed as well. Eco KD 5 to 4 now, so Lord Tidow is evening out the odds here a bit. We have Mr. Soltmann, 1 gold off the Castle Age click here. Lacking the second building, I think. I think he needs the blacksmith before clicking up. But other than that, he's in a good spot to still beat the opponent to the Castle Age in this massive mess of a rush that's going on here in the wood line with some very weak spearmen. Not enough wood for that. True. But did you really need that house? Yeah, wood is an issue. Nice denying the wood there of Lord Tidow then to stop the building of a stable. One thing to keep in mind though, if you're lacking the building and can't click up right immediately, you could queue villagers. I guess you were doing that earlier on, so that's fine. But picking out the food now, just use the stables and pump out some more scouts so you have more army, because there's no reason to float food if you have more than 800 food to click to the Castle Age. If you were lacking a second villager, just make use of the food, make army, make something. Make villagers as well. But here's the Castle Age. And there won't be any second stable just yet here. But I had to start to Castle Age. It is Lord Tidow now with 250 food to go to the next age. And actually at a military lead here now, as Mr. Soltmann almost is able to keep the Magyar scouts out there, but there they go. Yeah, food isn't an issue for the Magyars here, that's for sure. Good raids from Lord Tidow. Tidow likes the scouts. Well, what's going on here? 15-5, KD 16-5. This is power of the Magyars free forging, people. Bloodlines even in for the scouts. Lord Tidow is delaying the Castle Age click here, but he's getting amazing value from the Fuel Age armies. How many villagers dead now? 22. 22 villagers killed for Lord Tidow, and Mr. Soltmann is completely off wood. No wood access whatsoever. Can not place a second stable, so with Castle Age kicking in, it's still only going to be one stable producing lights here. And even gold is an issue here, and there is no market for Mr. Soltmann to sell food to have gold for more nights. This is going to be 2 or 3 nights maximum here for the Lithuanians. No wood for a monastery for monks to collect relics. No wood for a second stable to double upon knight's production. And just enough on gold to keep 1 stable producing knights here. Oh, what's going on? Something is... yeah, it's just a burning building. Oh, here comes the hero knight. He's going to contest the woodland here, try and break in and slay these 5 villagers. Look at the villager count though! 45 to 20 for Lord Tidow here. Amazing value from the scouts of the Magyars here in Castle Age. Only 1 minute 40 away as well. And then the scouts, spears, and eventually knights are going to get +2 attack instantly. More villagers going down. Mr. Soltmann soon won't have any economy left here. And the wood situation won't be housed for a while, that's for sure, but still, 19 villagers to 44. This is just Magyar's domination here on the plains by Lord Tidow here. There are a couple of knights forward. But even just a few Magyar Spears should clean that up, especially with Castle Age kicking in soon, and most of the resources are quick walled in here anyway. Don't let that scout in though, or knight in. Oh boy. Food, please. Disaster piece, I think it is. It's a well-earned term here. Never rely on full walls on a map like these, open maps. You have to be aggressive, be the aggressor. Huns would be a beautiful pick for these maps. But again, I guess we might see Huns for Acropolis next. I admire the resilience though. 24 villagers and counting for Mr. Soltmann now. Only 21 to go until you match Lord Tidow here. The stable has afforded bloodlines now. Still the wood situation less than stellar here, and they're walking a marathon to drop off wood over here, so no wonder it stays low with 6 on wood here. Lord Tidow is up though. He has 2 stables as opposed to the Lithuanians here. Has some pikes out with that +2 attack that you get from iron casting. 5 knights for Mr. Soltmann, but against these army combo here, that shouldn't be much of an issue for Lord Tidow to clean up. Magyar's Knights massively superior here. Look at the uppers. All of the upgrades are in for Lord Tidow here. +2 attack, +2 defense. Bloodlines is in for both, but there's just a beautiful clean out there. Look at the KD, 53 to 27. Mr. Soltmann losing those knights that easily. Taps out, calls the GG. Let's see the stats. (53-27) is the KD. Half of those were villagers, so good scouts raids there for Lord Tidow. Oops. So, massively stronger economy for Lord Tidow here. Didn't lose those 20 villagers. Don't look good at the start, okay? I'll make a note. I'll make a note of that. 50 to 37, and the timeline shows overall better army flow for Lord Tidow here throughout the whole game. Let's take a quick look at the draft again, since we have it. Didn't good start. That's what we meant. Alright, who's down there? Lord Tidow with the Magyars win. Lithuanians down. Our home map of Mr. Soltmann is Acropolis. Where I don't quite understand the picks here. Could be mines for castles and plumed archers and whatnot. Could be Persians to counter, to some extent, the cavalry play of these civilizations. I don't have any idea. I'd say Persians for the scouts and mobility, and then Huns for Lord Tidow since it's Acropolis. But we'll see. We'll find out soon enough. Oh, of course, Persians, Berbers. Makes sense. I didn't catch Berbers there, but of course it's Berbers for Acropolis. So it's the battle of the cavalry civilizations here. We have Mr. Soltmann with the Persians for Acropolis and Lord Tidow with the Berbers. So Lord Tidow likes the scouts play, so we'll probably go for the Berbers scouts here to open as well. As you'll note, the berries are kind of in the back here for Mr. Soltmann. If that wasn't the case, you could consider going to Rush Fast Castle as well to really benefit from that Berbers power spike in the Castle Age with the cheaper cavalry. But yeah, I'm expecting scouts from both here, as we saw in the previous match as well, that they both have their scouts build orders down. Persian's advantage of going scouts with a quick population or quick up is that the Persian's TC starts working 10% faster in the feudal age, 15% faster in the cast age, and 20% faster in the imperial age. And this also affects the research up to the next stage along the way, so you should be able to contest the Berbers' cast stage timing if you're Persians, since your TC also researches this faster, and you are in a good spot with consistent TC production to out eco the other player. Where's this guy going? It's going to drop a lumber camp on the chunkier lumber camp in the middle here already. I think he wanted to drop it there first, but then decided no, I'll hide it away a little bit more. Either that, or this is just some really weird builder pathing. There we go. Tree on wood for now, pretty exposed woodland. We'll see that Mr. Soltmann is taking the straggler to begin with here. I mean, cleans up some space around the TC. Where's she going? Is she gonna drop a house? Okay. There are some decent woodlands to take in the back, but this one is kind of blocked by the gold as well. Otherwise, this would be a nice lumber camp spot to take both of them. But that kind of, to some extent, blocks out your gold. Acropolis is tough to wall as well, so I wouldn't necessarily expect early full walls here, but players tend to find a way to wall any map these days, so it might still just happen. We have 3 on wood for both players, generally indicative of Scouts play, but taking the stragglers is a bit of walking time instead of having a lumber camp, so Lord Tidow's lumber income should be better for the long run here after sending the villagers forward to this chunkier woodline here. Alright. Did I miss a lame here? Or, let's see. No. You're talking about the straggler trees, yeah. I mean, it's not always a bad idea to take the straggler trees. I'd say if sometimes they're like here, right? So if they're even closer to the TC, it's kind of justified. But this is 2 tiles, this is 4 tiles, so it's just much less efficient than what Lord Tidow has here. So they're just the small things that one player will have better wood access than the other. Not necessarily going to change the outcome here, but we'll see. 5 on wood now for Mr. Soltmann, and about to go to the feudal age. Has queued the feudal age here, going for the 21 pop scouts this time with the Persians, and that's going to be mirrored again by Lord Tidow, I think, with slightly more idle TC time behind this, 16 seconds, but queued the feudal age as well, so that's going to be 16-second difference there, right? Second lumber camp out in the middle as well. This is very exposed to scouts openings, but you'll just wall them in, of course, small tiles of wall and everything. But either of these could also be stopped by a tower easily. That's the danger of taking the forward lumber camps this early. It's very exposed, and you need to find a way to defend them. Oh, weak villager. Why would you send a weak villager to the far out lumber camp? That's probably the scout hitting her earlier on. Some precious idle time caused there by Mr. Soltmann though, and the quick holds are up on the first woodland, going up on both woodlands to secure from the scouts opening that's about to enter their side. 4 on berries for Lord Tidow, only 2 for Mr. Soltmann. Hmm. Pushed a few deer by the looks of it, or long distance hunted it maybe. I think they may both have done that, because I don't see any deer around Lord Tidow's base either. Here's the barracks, finishing after the fuel age kicks in. That's another point of delay that's not ideal when you're going for the scouts, and the wood situation doesn't look too pretty here. Remember, palisades cost wood as well, so you generally want to start your walling in the fuel age mainly after you've gotten your production buildings up, or alternatively full wall and go boring fast castle. But one scout is forward nevertheless, and two spearmen on the field for Lord Tidow as well, as Mr. Soltmann is just now dropping the stables with only one builder and will finish at roughly the same time as the opponent, so no significant advantage for either player into the scouts here. Spearman moving forward now. This gives me flashbacks to the previous game here, but these aren't Magyar Spearmen with the extra attack, or the instant attack. So we'll see how it works out. Where are the Spearmen? Oh, they're here. Similar army composition here, but more scouts, more spears for Lord Tidow here with the Berbers, whereas Mr. Soltmann has the builder lead now, both because of less idle this time and because of a faster working town center. Just passing. And we have the walls in progress here up on the Acropolis. Left side is full walled. One builder is idling out over here, but let's see what the scouts will accomplish here. They're gonna get here before the wall's complete, I think, but there's a spearman here to obstruct their entry. They have to focus on that one first or just run away. 2 or 3 hits for the spearman. That's one scout nearly dead before they even get a chance to engage. Meanwhile, there's some poking away at walls on the other side as well. That's just one spearman, nothing else. Full on spear defense for Mrs. Soltmann by the looks of it. That's kind of a pity, because Lord Tidow is far from full walled up on the Acropolis here, has some spearmen to defend, of course, but you could still run around with a few scouts and be extremely annoying here to obstruct the resource income. Oh, 2 versus 1 over here. Lord Tidow definitely with the army numbers here now, but getting out echoed by the Persians here, playing spear defense and playing it more safe, going to gold now. Mr. Soltmann should be reaching the castle age a lot sooner than Lord Tidow with all these investments here. That's a setback for the Berbers. They really thrived from their cheaper cavalry from the castle age onwards. So if they're later to the castle age, some of that advantage gets lost, especially against a civilization with access to fully upgraded camels like the Persians. So not so much to do at this point while transitioning to the castle age. Mr. Soltmann tries for some spearman rushes again here. Could even consider saving those and upgrade them to pikes later on and go for pike siege push on the Berbers, because that can be very strong, especially with an earlier castle age with the for the Persians here. Scouts trying to make themselves an opening here, but it's not going to be an option just yet. That's just going to be house wall behind. Minimum of annoyance there from Mr. Soltmann, who is now up to the castle age. And should be beating Lord Tidow by good margins here. Wheelbarrow is in as well. Slightly fewer villagers, but that's because of Wheelbarrow as well, as Lord Tidow is getting Wheelbarrow now and is not up to the castle age. So when Lord Tidow starts researching the castle age, Mr. Soltmann will be able to catch up in villager numbers, maybe with some additional TCs as well. It could be a 1 TC double knights, double stable knights for a while here yet though, but more on gold will be desperately needed to afford that. Huh. Archers now from the Berbers. Interesting. I mean, crossbows to back up the cheap cavalry isn't necessarily bad, and definitely to snipe the amount of spears here. I guess that's the reasoning, to have an answer to the spears, but skirms will do as well, until any scouts or knights enter the field to contest them, of course, but then you have spears of your own to deal with that. A little bit of uphill advantage given to Mr. Soltmann's spears here. And now with the castle age kicking in, we also have knights on the way, but there's no gate here for the knights to escape through. So in order for the knights to engage here, a hole must be made in the walls, and that could allow these scouts to enter as well. There we go. Knock knock. Who's there? Still a good fight for Mr. Soltmann, as Lord Tidow now is going up to the castle age with 41 villagers total. So going to fall behind the villagers as long as Mr. Soltmann keeps these town centers producing, of course. But oh, whoa. But with that kind of wood in the bank, you could easily drop 2 TCs to extend and take more control of the neutral resources once you get there. Is that an overdrop? No. We're about to reach the cast stage for the Berbers here. Lots of resources in the bank, so pumping out some knights and or camels shouldn't be an issue here. Good quick calls to keep the aggression out for now. And the other woodland will be contested as well, but just a little house foundation away from keeping those knights out further. There is the castle show, full on camels investment here for Lord Tidow. We'll have to dodge the spears, but the spears, they don't have any upgrades, so that should be alright. Lord Tidow has +1/+1 and well, they both have bloodlines, but he has attack and defense, and 2 stables consistently producing here with Berbers. Is easily going to catch up in numbers here, and since it's mainly knights on the field for Mr. Soltmann, Lord Tidow is going to take some favorable fights here soon enough. Mr. Soltmann has lots of resources in the bank here now, but not really using the stables. As I said, that they started producing. But now look at the military numbers. Berbers, cheaper, cavalry at work here. You almost think they'd produced faster as well, because suddenly the numbers are so much in Lord Tidow's favor here. Lord Tidow stays with 2 stables, but keeps them consistently producing. Has 10 on gold for Berbers. That's decent enough. And then now, of course, Mr. Soltmann on the back foot there. Looks like another TC foundation is going up here. And there's still lots of wood, enough to drop even more TCs across the map here, so This is Lord Tidow's moment to expand the eco across the map here and take control over more of the neutral golds and woodlines here, I think. 20 mil to 9 now. Ridiculous that Berber's cavalry thingy. 18 food, 10 on gold, keeps 1 stable producing here. And yes, Mr. Soltmann, you should definitely be spending your resources. Now you have 3 stables you could use here. So, we're beginning to see the upgrade, and also with resources in the bank, Mr. Soltmann, no excuse not to get upgrades here. You could have outmatched Lord Tidow here with the proper upgrades. As Lord Tidow has stone in the bank for a castle now, he... In this position right now, that should definitely be an offensive one. Could drop it on this TC, or drop it on the hill, like he's doing here. Okay, there we go. And not really stressing the villagers here. 4 villagers building it. Lord Tidow feels very competent here by the looks of it. Quick house, but you can't build behind here, so that house wall isn't going to keep anything out. I'm not sure if this castle goes up just yet. There is army up here to deal with these camels. Unfortunately, they were out of position. They were busy raiding here. Raiding party. And desperate efforts here to get this castle up. It will go up eventually, I think, but not yet. Not today. Yeah, Mr. Soltmann, low on food now, so there's a limit to how much army you can produce. Still only has spearmen at this point. Might really need a monastery and pump out some monks, but the eco balance seems a bit off here. Lots of gold in the bank, no market to adjust it. And the castle, with only 3, 4, 5 builders building it, is actually going to go up here. And also there's an opening here. Another stable could get denied here. This castle, once it goes up, will deny basically all of the food economy of Mr. Soltmann here. So this is not looking pretty for the red player. Castle is up. Farms are unusable. And where do we go from here? Suddenly, I mean, earlier on, walling like this, it kind of gives up a whole map to the enemy, right? So there's only 2 TCs for either of them, though, but Lord Tidow seems to have a more consistent production behind this. And villagers, it's a mass escape here for the villagers. Their camels here have been dealt with at least, but here comes a siege workshop on the side as well for Lord Tidow. Why are the camels pounding away over here, though? They should chase these cowardly villagers running away here. Would be 10 easy kills at least. Quick houses to make sure this siege workshop goes up. Is that something that Mr. Soltmann can see here? He just misses it. Missing some line of sight there for the camel. But the army situation is showing Berber's power here. Cheaper cavalry, 26 to 9 here. Spears, camels, knights for Lord Tidow. And Mr. Soltmann is just cramped up in the corner here, trying for a counterattack with the camels. With some limited success here, but remember the camels, they are lacking all but the first defense upgrade here. And, oh, oops. I spoke too soon. We might see some villager kills here. Pikeman now on the way for the 9-11 spears on the field. But lack of upgrades really hurting here. Lack of a market hurting as well with all this gold in the bank. Siege Workshop producing a couple of mangonels here, so these TCs are going to be eaten soon enough, and Lord Tidow has all the chance in the world to close out this game now. 77 to 72. Twice the military count. See the better upgrades at work here. Just one more attack, swaying the pikes here in somewhat even numbers. Here come the pikes as well, so Mr. Soltmann can't go just for the camels anymore, really. There comes the market. So now we'll see the gold being put to different use here to buy some food. Maybe 13 of food after losing all these farms to the forward castle. And 2 mangonels now pushing the stables production. Oy, 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 but all this gold in the bank not really able to be used for anything. I think Mr. Soltmann would need to buy a castle now with this gold to place a defensive castle here somewhere to try and salvage some of the economy. There's still opportunity for escape to the left-hand side as well. That's something that Lord Tidow is scouted the area but doesn't quite see what's going on. And here is the castle. And oh, but the Mangonels could snipe that. The Mangonels could snipe the foundation, but they won't. They could still snipe villagers. While you're poking away at the houses, you can just run right in here and stop this castle from going out. This is the reverse get out of my game castle here. This is the castle that's getting Mr. Soltmann out of the game all on his very own here, I think. But it goes up. And surprisingly so, the villager difference is still, after all this pressure from Lord Tidow, it's 86 to 72, so not that huge of a deal as you might expect. This is a huge commitment though, had to buy the stone most likely and take many villagers off crucial resources to get the defensive castle up. Some nice sneaky little raids here from Mr. Soltmann on the left hand side as well. So the Mr. Soltmann has lost killed 7 villagers and lost 21 though, so still favoring Lord. Oh! Cav Archer! Cav Archer! Where is Cav Archer? Not every day you see those with their strong cavalry options. So I think we need to get to the Imperial Age here if we're Lord Tidow, just to close out the game. Alternatively, just queue up a shitload of rams from the siege workshop and ram down the castle and finish it off here. You could also, once this TC goes down, you could actually steal these farms and get some free food economy and extend that a little bit for the later game. Yeah, probably misclick. That's a big misclick though, 2 cavalry archers. Okay. Still, it could be used for raiding this exposed economy, maybe. Seems a good evening. Or with the 1300 max elo bracket here between 2 clanmates of Aegis Nordlichter, Lord Tidow, and Mr. Soltmann. Knights and camels were underground here. Imperial Age on the way for Lord Tidow. Shouldn't have any trouble affording Treb from one of the forward castles here. Extending the economy as well with another TC now, 4th TC. Mr. Soltmann still with 2 and falling severely behind in all aspects here. Falling behind in age, has been behind in numbers for a while already. Trying for some raids again here, and it's going to force some villagers to engage. If the TC goes down, Lord Tidow actually loses the Imperial Age, but there's not enough units here to take out a town center in time. There are some idols here that need to be sorted as well. You could actually say that for both players. Lord Tidow with 38 idols here. What's up with that? Work, people. Castle on the hill for fortifying the position here as well. There are some on the wood lines. Yeah, the forward pressure takes its toll on the economy in the end. Mr. Soltmann seems to be stabilizing a little bit here, getting another castle up. War Elephant type. And the Imperial Age on the way as well. It's still a 1 minute 20 seconds lead for Lord Tidow though. And just now getting chain barding armor for the cavalry units. Outpost. We're not going to give Lord Tidow any free map vision here. But enter the pikes. Berbers don't get halberdier though. They are a camel civilization, so they have to rely on their heavy camels to counter other cavalry play. So both players now in the Imperial Age. We're getting Cavalier for Lord Tidow here for the 21 knights on the field. Treb is out to contest this castle, and we probably have another few Trebs in queue. Yeah, desperate repairs here. Running out of stone, that's not going to make it easy to keep these castles up. We still have a lot of Cavalier on the field, but some Camels and Knights over here as well. But we won't be seeing Cavalier or Heavy Camel anytime soon from Mr. Soltmann. He has a very fragile eco behind this. Running out of gold, this one is nearly depleted and out of limits of Mr. Soltmann here due to the castle. Castle doesn't even have pledging though, so it's only got 8 range. But with 3 Trebs now pushing, that should be the end of these 2 town centers, and Mr. Soltmann will be left without town centers, and the Cavalier could raid in like crazy. Cavalier shredding camels here actually, but that's because it's Imperial Age units against Castle Age units here. 50 military to 34 here. Good job after all this pressure for Mr. Soltmann to still have 32 military on the field, but he's losing all the economy now. More and more idols, and once the castle on the hill goes down, if not before, that should be the point of GG for Mr. Soltmann here. Pushing uphill. How much damage per shot for an uphill trap shot? Let's see. A little bit less than 400, 300 something. Mr. Soltmann, it's the decider game, so that's why he fights on here, but he's literally lost all the map control here. Look at all the blue across the map here, taking neutral stone, not taking this wood, but pushing down the castle on the hill. There's no stone for repairs, even though Mr. Soltmann tries for it. GD is called. Lord Tidow advances to the round 5. So nice set there. Let's have a look at the stats again. This forward castle was a nice forward castle indeed. Good timing of that one. So Berbers take the win here. Maybe not too surprising against Persians, although Persians have the better boom and a tiny eco bonus from the very beginning with 50 extra food, 50 extra wood. Takes the kills for Lord Tidow, largest army by far as well. And an earlier Imperial Age making pushing castles a lot harder. Good hold for Mr. Soltmann to make it to the Imperial Age though, and to be able to make army. But that's where it ends for this match.